and they were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to cut some lines out. I think then you kind of had the freedom to be able to say, look, can I just rejig this? And they're like, yes, please do it. And I got a lot of people being like, is this you? And I was like, yeah, it is me. This is amazing. For me, my pinnacle of my career would be a regular character on The Archers.
Hello, my name's Lee Emerson. I am one of the founders of Voxxpress and Voicefairy, the best way to find, book and record your perfect voiceover performance without leaving your desk. Now, to celebrate our new look Voxxpress site, we are launching a new series of Voiceover Stories, which is where we talk to some of our favourite artists on the platform about how they got into voiceovers and what makes them tick. And I'm delighted to say we're joined by Nathaniel P today, who is not only a Voxxpress featured artist, he's also twice nominated for OVA and Vox 23 awards. And more importantly, very recently has just become a 5-star rated artist on the platform. Nathaniel, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Yeah.
So I guess the first question is how did you get into this crazy game of voiceovers? I read in your profile that you're a trained actor.
I am indeed, yeah. So I went to East 15 acting school, did some various stuff. I did a tour in Germany. I was in an episode of Emmerdale, did a couple of pantos. And then I moved to Thailand with with my mum. She was taking over an international school, a headship. And I noticed in the music department that they had a microphone and an interface. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start recording some stuff and see where it goes. And by the end of that year, I'd recorded 2 audiobooks. It's like everyone's worst nightmare of recording in your booth in the summer in England, but it was like that every single day.
I mean, audiobooks are pretty hardcore as well, aren't they? I mean, a lot of our artists on the platform actually don't like to be listed for audiobooks because it's a lot of work.
It's actually become my kind of mainstay, really. Since moving back from Thailand to England 4.5 years ago, I've done nearly 120 audiobooks since. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's my I say it's my kind of specialism in voiceover, I guess.
The experience of doing that much script must be huge.
Yeah, and my ability for sight reading has improved incredibly over the last kind of 3 years, and I still love it. I still really love doing it.
It's certainly a quality that I think is underrated, actually. But artists on our site, obviously, it's very important that they have a good voice.
Yeah.
But I think it's also really important that they're able to interpret a script quickly. Would you say that that voiceover is your main thing now, or do you still do a lot of acting?
Voiceover is definitely my main thing. I'm in my studio 10 till 5, 9 till 5, Monday to Friday every day. I have an acting agent for kind of commercial work and corporate jobs and stuff like that. But
I mean, I have to say, to someone who doesn't do it, it does sound like the perfect way to earn a living. I mean, essentially, you pretty much do it in your pajamas.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, and it works very well for me because I've got 2 very young children and a puppy and my wife, and so being at home and having that freedom to kind of go into the studio, record some stuff, and then go and hang the washing out it's just the dream, really. And I always feel every day kind of very fortunate for
you are living the dream, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the fun stuff. What's the most unusual VO job that you've ever done?
So one of the first audiobooks I did, it was from the point of view of an English bulldog called JJ Pips, who goes on this adventure to New York because he's always wanted to go to New York, and he can somehow talk to human beings. But I had to do the whole voice in I'm JJ Pips for the whole audiobook.
Now that performance is out there, I'm guessing that we're going to get some clients wanting to book that particular voice, because it's not bad, my friend. It's not bad at all.
No, I guess not. But
is it? I guess for a whole audiobook, it's quite tiring.
It was quite tiring. Yeah, I think some of the feedback from the author. It was an independent author, and she was, I think, I got to about 3 hours into the audiobook and she was like, it sounds like your voice and accent is starting to wane a little bit. And I was like, no, it's definitely not.
But not going back and doing it all again.
No, you try and do that voice for a 3-4 hour audiobook.
And what's the strangest bit of VO direction you've ever had?
I did a job last week and they wanted me to fit in all of this technical legal jargon that they had in it. But they also wanted it still kind of warm and gentle. But we were over by about 15 seconds, and I was just like, and they were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to cut some lines out. And I was like, okay. But there was one, I thought about it earlier. They were like, I want you to be enthusiasm, and that was it. I was like, okay, I will embody enthusiasm.
And I bet you did. And I bet you did. I mean, so many times I've spoken to artists and they say, I've got the weirdest bit of direction, and yet somehow they managed to interpret it into to something that the client wanted. And I guess that's one of the, at least at the moment, one of the strong arguments for using, real artists over sort of, some of these AI tools now.
Absolutely,
is that you can tweak the nuances of that performance so much with a real, artist behind the mic.
Yeah, it is like the nuances that you lose with AI. And AI just sounds so weird. You get so many like reference videos sent with an AI reference track, and it's just like, this is so strange. This is so strange because it's almost there, but it's so far off in many ways. And
it is. I mean, it's the audio equivalent, isn't it, of like the extra finger with the sort of the DALL-E kind of AI art and stuff. It's just like a sort of casual listen. It sort of sounds all right, and then you listen to it a bit more carefully. It's like that's not. There's something not quite right there. What would people know your voice from then?
Trivago, which was Trivago where they compare the two women at the hotel. That was on, and I got a lot of people being like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is me. This is amazing." I did a Great Ormond Street Hospital as well. That was a great project. Most recently, Becco. Becco seemed to really like my voice. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure when they're airing it, but they've paid me, so we'll go there.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yeah. My next one was, what's the strangest type of voice you've ever had to do?
I've done some kind of dark fantasy stuff. I did a dark sci-fi book last year called Lessons in Bird Watching, and all of that was it was very like this, and you had to be right in there with the character. And it's very,
again, I can see down. People are going to be booking you for that voice, that performance.
So yeah, it's just some really great, and I love that, and I have done a couple of video game projects, and I really want to get into the video game industry because it's that performance and character voice that I love in audiobooks, and having to be able to do that for video games as well.
It's such a huge industry as well.
Yeah, massive.
Are there any projects that you haven't done that you would like to?
My guilty pleasure of aspirations is to be on the Archers. I know it's really...
I totally get it. It.
For me, my pinnacle of my career would be a regular character on the Archers. So
well, you never know. Someone might be watching. Do you have any advice for people who are looking to get into voiceover?
You need to have some training in order not only just to be able to regulate your voice and change your voice and everything like that, but picking the words off a page is, I think, the thing you have to work on the most, because you can get given the driest piece of text. I did a video last week. It was a training video about the flammable qualities of paint when it's dry. So dull, but you have to make it. You have to make, and that was an 1.5-hour session of constant narration. It was really tough, but you have to learn to be able to bring those words off a page and make them sing and make them so the person, your listener, is going to be engaged and not going to switch off after the first couple of sentences. So I think that is the main thing, is learning how to pick up the words off the page and to be able to perform them within the right kind of genre that you're doing, I think.
Presumably also practice.
Practice. If you can do, like, find someone to be a kind of buddy mentor and do sessions every now and again with them and read stuff to each other and pick out what's working and what's not working, I think that's very helpful. But it is, practice and training, I think, is your key.
Do you think you'd ever go back to doing a proper job?
No, absolutely not. I definitely would not be able to have a boss again. I no, it just wouldn't work. I don't know. Just no. Sorry. Dumb.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more biggie here.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for script writers or directors when they're writing, voiceover scripts?
Make sure you've got the script ready. It's a script that can be spoken aloud and make sense, and you have a clear vision of what you want. So you can give the direction to the voice actor. They'll do it. They can change it up, and then that's the end of the session. You've got it.
We have a kind of a guide that people can download on the site, and it's basically compiled of artists, suggestions on that. And the things like reading a script out aloud. You write something down, and you can write it in a form that no one would ever speak. One way of finding out that is the case is to actually read it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's funny how often that doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially in stuff like technical scripts, like the paint drying video I did last week. A lot of that is so technical, and you've got to write it in a way that a voice actor can actually speak it.
Do you find that you offer advice on how to modify scripts sometimes when you're recording them to make them better?
Yes, I do. It's a tricky one, though, because you're often taught to kind of not do that and just let the session progress naturally, and the people on the call will discuss it. But I do try and give my kind of 2 pence worth and be like, look, I think this doesn't work, so maybe we could just change the order of these words and then it will make more sense. And I do a lot for kind of European companies, and they often have given me a script which is just Google translated, and so it doesn't make any sense. And so I think then you kind of had the freedom to be able to say, look, can I just rejig this? And they're like, yes, please do it. Make it sound like it's supposed to sound. You're English, so we don't speak English. Let's do it.
It is a difficult balance, isn't it, though? Because sometimes, someone might have spent a lot of time on that script, and, it might be quite offended if you try and change it. I have to admit, one of the techniques I use is to suggest that we record it as written, and then we do an alternate version. Yeah. And then obviously they've got both options there.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I like that.
So, Nathaniel, thank you so much. It's been really, really great to talk to you. Really, really appreciate it. If you'd like to find out more information about Nathaniel, listen to his clips, or indeed book him, he is on the platforms. The address is on the screen right now. It's also in the description. And if you are looking for a voice for your next project, please do give us a try. Not only do we think we're the best way to find the right voiceover performance for your project, we also have all our prices up front, so there are no nasty surprises. I will see you in another episode of Voiceover Stories. Thanks for watching. Take care.